I will never forget the day my life was turned upside down. The day I realized I had been replaced by a lookalike while I recovered from a major car accident. It is a feeling hard to put into words, but I will try to take you through the journey. The one that led me to this shocking discovery. I met him at a coffee shop. Of all places. He was charming, successful, and he had this spark in his eyes. It drew me in immediately. We talked for hours. Before I knew it, the sun was setting. We had our first date. I trusted him. Maybe too much, but he seemed genuine. I was swept off my feet. We were together for a few years. Everything seemed perfect. He was supportive, caring. I thought he loved me for who I was. Then, the accident happened. I was driving home from work. A car ran a red light. It slammed into mine. I remember waking up in the hospital. My body broken. My mind foggy. He was by my side, holding my hand, telling me everything would be okay. I was in and out of the hospital for months, undergoing surgery after surgery. He visited every day, bringing flowers, telling me how much he loved me. Or so I thought. Looking back, I realized that is when the first red flag appeared. He would sometimes seem distant, preoccupied. I would catch him staring at his phone, a mixture of guilt and excitement on his face. I brushed it off as worry, thinking he was just stressed about my recovery. But what if it was something more? As I recovered, I started to notice strange things. He received mysterious phone calls. He would step outside to answer them. He told me it was work. But the tone of his voice changed. He seemed happy. I tried to push the thoughts away, focusing on my recovery. But the suspicion lingered. It wasn't until I was going through his phone, looking for a number to call his mom, that I stumbled upon a text conversation. My blood ran cold. There were photos of him with a woman. She looked just like me. Same hair, same eyes, same smile. It was as if I was staring at my own reflection. But it wasn't me. The texts were flirtatious. The photos were intimate. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. The discovery sparked a mix of emotions. Anger, sadness, betrayal. How could he do this to me? I was lying in a hospital bed, fighting for my life. And he was replacing me with a lookalike. The pain was overwhelming. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of despair. I became withdrawn, isolated. My recovery slowed down. I didn't know how to process my emotions, how to deal with the fact that the man I loved had betrayed me in the worst possible way. But as the days turned into weeks, something inside me shifted. I realized that I wasn't a victim. I was a survivor. And I was going to make him pay for what he had done. I started to gather evidence, collecting every text, every photo, every message. Anything that could expose him for who he truly was. And then I waited. I waited for the perfect moment to strike. To reveal the truth to his family, his friends, and the world. It wasn't long before I got my chance. He had planned a big party to celebrate his new business venture. I knew it was the perfect opportunity. I created a slideshow, a presentation that would show everyone the real him. The photos, the texts, the lies. It was all there. As he stood on that stage, smiling, waving to the crowd, I hit play. The room fell silent. His face turned white. Instantly, his family was shocked. His friends were disgusted. He was left standing alone, his reputation in tatters. He tried to speak, but no words came out. His eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape. But there was none. The truth had been laid bare. And he could not hide behind his charm anymore. I walked off the stage calmly. No need to celebrate loudly. Just a quiet nod to the people I cared about. Then I called my mother. She was waiting at home with a lawyer and a plan. Within an hour, the police arrived at the venue. They took his phone. They seized the evidence. By evening, he was gone. Arrested on charges of fraud and emotional manipulation. His business partners cut ties within minutes. The lookalike woman vanished from social media overnight, leaving him with nothing but his own reflection in a glass window. And that reflection showed only regret. As I look back on that experience, I realize what I learned. I learned that my worth isn't defined by someone else's actions. Not ever. I am strong. I am resilient. And I am worthy of love and respect. Don't let anyone ever make you feel otherwise. Trust your instincts. Trust your gut. And always remember that you deserve to be treated with kindness and honesty. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you have handled it differently? I'd like to think that I did what was necessary, that I stood up for myself, and that I took back control of my life. If you are going through something similar, just know that you are not alone. You are seen, you are heard, and you are worthy of justice. Never forget that the truth always wins, even when it hurts to tell it, especially then.